Hello everyone, hope you all are enjoying your day today. Today I am reviewing Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2. I will of course talk about both Season 1 and Season 2. Spoilers, so here's your warning. Okay, let's begin. The second season continues with Clementine, who was left to fend for herself and has been forced to learn how to survive in a world gone mad. That's the synopsis used for the game, but it's a lot more complicated than it seems. But I'm going to address the big elephant in the room before I continue. Is Season 2 good? Yes, but it's not as good as the first. The first is literally perfect with a few minor flaws. This one has a couple writing issues and insulting character deaths. So let me rate the episodes, but this time I'll go in depth because I feel like the last video I rushed through and just listed my decisions. But actually, before I actually start with the episodes, let me talk about the gameplay for a bit. First of all, the gameplay is much more smoother. I felt less limited in my movements. Also, killing walkers is much more fun in this game. The first game, it was pretty tense to kill a walker since they were relatively new. You can also, in this game, you can also adapt new ways to kill them, which is nice. The dialogue options continue to be great, but I feel like this time they matter a little less. For example, no matter what you do, Luke's death is permanent. The graphics are definitely an upgrade though to the first game, of course. There are more animations and less instances of the game glitching out. Anyways, time to talk about the episodes in depth. Episode 1 is basically Telltale grabbing you, tying you to a chair, and making you watch some fucked up stuff. I know that's kind of an exaggeration, but I mean, this episode kills off Omid and Krista in the beginning of the game. Just wow. Both their deaths, especially Krista, feels very anticlimactic. It was off screen, which makes it even more insulting. Omid's death was sad, but it was used more for shock value rather than a satisfactory death. Like for example, Lee's death is a perfect example of how to kill a lovable character. This was not. Anyways, I'll continue. Clementine gets completely fucked in this episode. I mean, she has so much shit that she has to deal with. She gets attacked by a dog, attacked by walkers, locked in a shed, having to deal with bandits, and having to stitch herself up like a badass. Jesus Christ, she's only 11 and she has some damn good survival skills. Hell, she's probably more reliable than the adults. Anyways, this episode was a great opener. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, here are the decisions I made for this episode. Now, next. Episode 2 is great, and the standout is definitely the reveal of Kenny. I was so glad to see him again, and it made me happy. I also liked Walter finding out that Matthew was killed by Nick. It was very compelling, though it was a shame that Walter died. It was what it was. I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. Didn't feel like a lot happened at first, but it got really well afterwards. Here are my decisions for episode 2. Episode 3 is great at first until the end. I think the death of Carver, it was a bit too premature because then the season has no main villain. That's just me, but I wish we had more to learn about Carver. But aside from that, it's an 8 out of 10 for this episode. And here are my decisions. Episode 4 is okay. I just feel like the other high stakes in my decision, I mean like, it feels very tamed here. Felt like it dragged a bit with the whole getting Rebecca stuff for her pregnancy. The cliffhanger is pretty good though. I give this episode a 7 out of 10. The next episode is really great, but there are problems I have with it. For example, Luke's death feels very insulting. The reason is because I think it should have been Kenny versus Luke instead of Jane versus Kenny. Another problem is Arvo. No matter if you try to be nice to this cunt, he still shoots you like a coward. I would have loved to kick his ass in the game though. In the end, I picked to let Jane die. And yeah, I hate Jane because she's only out for herself and selfish. She left Luke in the beginning, like episode 4, like near the end. She left him, so why the hell should I go with her if she's gonna leave me too? There's a chance of that happening. I guarantee she would have abandoned Clementine in the future. I saved Kenny also because he's a classical character. You know, from like season 1, anyone, like most characters are dead, so I might as well save one that's still alive. I also did choose to go to Wellington without Kenny. The reason is because I feel like this goes perfect with Kenny's arc. A lot of times you think he's going to turn into the next Carver, but he really did care about Clementine and AJ. And for me, that was enough, you know? And I was glad. I did get teary with the ending, mainly because my brother wasn't there this time. And I'm going to give the final grade of Season 2 of The Walking Dead an 8 out of 10. And to end the video, I'm going to talk about the characters from Season 2. Kenny is S tier, obviously, because it's Kenny. I mean, I love Kenny. Clementine is S tier too, because of course she is the best character in The Walking Dead so far, aside from Lee. Luke's great. It's just a shame the way they killed him off. Carlos is okay. I think he's great, but again, killed off too quickly. Alvin, I like Alvin. Alvin's cool. I liked his death, if you choose to save him in episode 3. Pete's nice, and he dies too early. So then, after that, Carver. I think Carver is a great character, but I think they could have done a little bit more with him. Nick's good. I know a lot of people hate Nick because he's basically Ben 2.0, but I like Nick. He was less, what's the right word? He felt more real. Bonnie's alright. She's nice, and that's good enough sometimes. Rebecca, she's mean in the first episode, but I can kind of understand why, because, you know, Clementine comes in, she has a bite, and you think it's a zombie, so you start getting all paranoid and shit. And then, after that, we have the alright tier. Walter's alright. I mean, yeah, I feel like they did enough for his character to be memorable, but then they just kill him off, which is a little upsetting, but that's alright. Then the next one, I totally forgot this dude's name, but he was nice, but he also was a coward, and then he died by Carver shoving him off. I forgot his name. Okay, anyways. And then I'm not a fan of Jane and Sarah. Sarah, for obvious reasons. She felt very useless. Even though I did save her, she did feel kind of pointless and useless. And some of her decisions really didn't add up to the game. Jane, I'd already explained why I don't like Jane. Sarita, I feel like she's not unlikable, but she's forgettable. I feel like to make her death a bit more impactful, they should have given her more character. And the bottom ones, for obvious reasons, I hate them. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this group compared to season 1's group is a little bland. It's okay, but you know, if you see season 1's group, it's so good. You remember every character. Here, I remember them. I didn't feel very memorable with them. You know, like I remember all these characters' names except for one. But, you know, again, I feel like there should have been a little bit more characterization sometimes. Anyways, to end this video, see ya. Have a good day.